All right, so today we are going to see some miscellaneous concepts. Like we'll start with the Bootstrap element, like how to handle drop down. Like it is a kind of a Bootstrap element, and I'll show you that. And after that, we'll see how to capture the screenshot and how we can work with the cookies and some miscellaneous concepts. So first, let us start with how to handle Bootstrap drop down. Bootstrap drop down. So in the previous sessions, we have seen how to handle normal drop downs, right? So if you have select class or select tag for the drop down, and we can use select class, and through which we will able to handle the we will able to select the options from the drop down. So by using visible text, index, and value methods. So this is something different type of drop down, so which doesn't have select class or select tag. So in those cases, how we can handle this drop down. So in the previous sessions also we have seen this dummyticket.com. So this application contains a this is application which contains a Bootstrap dropdown. So basically the country's dropdown is available, which is basically Bootstrap dropdown. Let me just open the application. Okay, now you can just look at this. I think this is the one. Okay, so this is a country by default UK is selected, right? So I want to select some other value from this drop down. So when I just click on it, what happens is, which is giving some options here, some text box also displayed here. And here there are so many options are there. But if I just inspect this element, it is not a select box actually. And if I just look at and inspect this element, you can find something called span tag. Okay, so let us try to understand what is this. So inside this actual span tag, which is representing the drop down element. Now inside this, there is one more span. Okay, so inside this, nothing is there. So let me just click on this element, and then we will see some additional tags. So once you click on here, now we can just look at here. As soon as you click on it, so it is giving under span tag. So you can just look at here. This is span tag, and here this is also span. And if I just come down, and there are so many list items are there. So this is a UK item. So currently this is displayed. Now let me inspect one of the element like this. Now we can just look at here. There are so many LI tags are there. So these are all LI tags. LI is nothing but a list item. But when you will get these tags, once you click on this element, once you identify one of the elements, so then it start giving these elements. Now this is actual span tag. So in this, there is a UL tag, user list. And inside this, there are LI tags are there. So this Afghanistan and so on. So the different countries are there. So LI tag, starting tag, and closing tag. So these are the options actually available inside the LI tag. So now what we need to do is, so here we cannot use select class. So how we can select the item? So first step, we have to click on this element. We have to perform the click action on this element. And second thing is, as soon as you click on the element, which will open all the options. And by using this LI tag, we can write a common XPath, which will capture all the list items from this dropdown. And once you capture all the list items, then we can find out how many are there. And then we can write a looping statement, which will repeat each and every item. And whichever you want to select from that list, we can go and click on that element. So this is the actual process which you have to follow. So first of all, let us try to click on this element. So let's inspect this element. There is a span tag is available, right? So for this, we need to capture the XPath. So let's go to the XPath, and I'm using this XPath to identify the drop-down Bootstrap element. So let's go to PyCharm, and here I'm creating a new directory today. New directory, so day 23. Inside this, I'm creating new Python file. I'll name it as a Bootstrap drop-down. Okay, so first of all, let me copy some code. 1 second. All right, so we don't need all these things. So let's import required packages and service object, launching a Chrome browser, and implicit wait I put here 10 seconds. So now let us start launching a web page. So I say driver.get, and let's launch our application first. Okay, and then maximize the browser, driver.maximize window. And then let us get this XPath, and I'm directly handling this element. Rest of the elements, so you guys can try. I am directly handling this Bootstrap dot. So first of all, we need to perform the click action on that element. So I say driver dot find element by dot XPath, specify that XPath dot click. Okay, so this will perform the click action on that element, and which will then it will open all the options. And once you open these options, select one of the element, and then you will see all li tags, and you can just go to the beginning where exactly they have started. And basically they have started under UL. So this is the UL tag which is available. So inside this UL, there are so many li tags are there. So till this, I'm getting this XPath till UL tag. And but we don't get this UL. So inside this UL, we need all li tags, right? So let's copy this XPath first. We will write our customized XPath. So driver, or let me just write it here itself. So first of all, this particular thing will point to all the options which are available in the drop down. So, but I need to extract individual items. So /li. So now 249 elements are matching. So this is the XPath we have to use to capture all the options from this drop down. So driver dot find elements by dot XPath, and just write the XPath. So this will return all the options which are available in the drop down. So I'm just naming it as countries list. So I just name it as a countries list. All right. So once you get the countries list, now we need to read each individual country item from this list. So first of all, let's count how many are there. Print length of countries list. Okay, let's print it now. Okay, now it is launching our application. It will just count. Okay, now I'm just closing it. Okay, still not completed. Sorry. Yeah, I have not executed. So let me just execute one more time. Okay, now it is clicked on the drop down. And once you click on the drop down, then we will get the option. So now we can see 249 options we captured. So we have just printed the list. Now, what is our intention is we need to select one item. So for that, we need to write a loop statement, and we have to read individual countries. So let's say for country in countries list. So I'm just reading individual country from this list into this variable. And inside this for loop, I'm checking the condition if country equal to. So I just want to select one of the country. Let's say in the single or double quotations, let's say India. If the country name, we have to specify. If the country name is India, then I want to select it. So country is a web element, right? So I can just specify that element dot click. We can apply click action on the web element. But country, we cannot compare with India. Why? This country is a web element, but India is a text, right? So from the web element, how we can capture the text? Web element dot text. So that will give you text of the element. And with that text, we have to compare our expect test, and if both are equal, then it will go and click on that element. So as soon as click on the element, we need to immediately break the loop. Otherwise, even though it is a match, then again, it will go and get another country into this variable. So as soon as you found a required country, and go and click on that country element, and then immediately come out from the loop. Now let us see whether it's selecting India or not. Okay, now it is click on the drop down, and now you can just look at this. India is selected. Okay, so similarly, you can just change different countries and check whether they are working fine or not. So this is how we can just handle the Bootstrap drop down. So if you don't have any select tag available, so this is a way we need to get. So we need to write a common XPath which will point all the options which are available. But sometimes you cannot see options directly in the HTML until unless you click on that element. And once you click on the element, and dynamically those options will appear on the HTML, and then we have to write an XPath and get all the list, and then read individual item into this variable, and whichever item is matching with your requirement, and go and perform the click action on that element. Okay, so just try this. And I think this is the only element you have a doubt on this. So that's the reason I have just covered. And the rest of the elements you can easily automate. You can just try that. Okay, so this is all about Bootstrap element. And now let's move on to the next topic. Suppose sometimes whenever you are executing a test case, so whenever your test case got failed, sometimes we have to capture the screenshot. So why? Because sometimes when your test case got failed, you have to provide that information to the developer, like which test case got failed, where it is failed, what is the test case steps, screenshot, all these things you have to provide to the developer. So in automation, when you're running your multiple steps or automation test script, so whenever your test case got failed somewhere, so immediately you have to capture the screenshot. Immediately you can capture the screenshot, and we can have the screenshot file in some folder, and later you can just share that file with the developer. So basically, whenever the automation test case got failed, immediately wherever it is got failed on that particular page, we can capture the screenshot. So in Python, so there is a method available inside the driver itself, and a save underscore screenshot method is available. So by using that method, we can directly capture the screenshot. So multiple ways are there. I'll show you. Very important, how to capture. But here I'm directly showing you how to capture the screenshot of the test or screenshot on the page. But once you start your framework, there I will show you only on the failures how we can capture the screenshot. Okay, so how to capture screenshot of a web page. How to capture the screenshot of a web page. Now let's go to the application. So you can take any application, just we need to capture the screenshot. So now let's go to PyCharm, and here I'm taking some application. Okay, so demo.nocommerce.com. So this is my web page. So as soon as you launch my page, I just want to capture the screenshot of this page. Okay, so but in Selenium with Java, there are a new options are provided in Selenium 4, like we can capture the full page of the screenshot, and we can capture the some specific section of the page, or we can also capture the screenshot of the specific element. But in Python, still that functionality is not implemented as part of Selenium 4. So still yet to implement that. But for now, it is just supporting capturing the screenshot, the full page screenshot. Okay, so whatever it is appeared on this particular screen, so we can capture the screen. So let me just show you how to capture the screenshot of the web page. So let me just create a new Python file, capture screenshot. Okay, so as usual, I'm just copying everything. So for settings, okay, now this is my application. Copy this URL. Okay, now as soon as whenever you want to capture the screenshot, always try to maximize the page. So otherwise it cannot capture the full page. So you need to maximize the window first. All right, so after that, how to capture the screenshot? As soon as you can capture screenshot at any place. So after doing some navigations also, you can capture the screenshot, no problem. But I want to just capture the screenshot of my home page. So as soon as I launch my application, just maximize the page. And then what I'll do is I'll say through driver, I'm able to access one method called save underscore screenshot. There are multiple methods are there. You can just look at here, save underscore screenshot, get screenshot as a file, get screenshot as a PNG. The multiple methods are there. I'll show you that. So first let us see save underscore screenshot. So this is a method most of the times we use. Okay, save underscore screenshot. So inside this, we need to specify the path where you want to exactly save your screenshot. So we need to specify the location. Suppose I want to save my screenshot in the same day 23 folder. So simply what you can do is you can just copy the reference and copy the path of the file, and then you can directly specify that, but along with the name of the file. So I say, I will name it as a home page dot png, so which will support all kinds of extension of png, jpg, okay, all whatever the image file extensions are available. So all extensions are supported. So you can just specify the location where exactly you want to save the file, and try to put double slashes instead of single slash. Sometimes it cannot read the folders. So you can just specify the complete path along with the name of the file. And then it will go and save the file inside the folder. Let's execute now. And after saving the file, I just want to close my browser. I say driver.quit. Okay, let me run this code. And you can specify any location, so which will automatically capture the screenshot. Okay, so now it is executed and we'll see whether it's created or not. Now we can just look at here, homepage.png is created. So as soon as I click on this PNG, so which is giving the web page. So this is a way we can do it. But if you don't want to provide the complete path, okay, project path and everything. So what we can do is, instead of passing the complete path, most of the times we will save it in your current project in some directory. So normally what I will do is, so I can say instead of writing this path, so till here, if you want to capture this whole path with single command, we can easily capture it because this is our current working directory, right? So how we can capture till here, we can just remove this part and we can use, there is a module called OS module. We have to import it first. Import OS, and inside the OS, there is a method called current working directory. So get current working directory, get CWD. So this will actually return the path till here, and rest of the file name and everything we can write. So, but we need to append it. We have to concatenate like this, homepage.png. So now this will actually return the location till here and concatenated by homepage.png. This is the actual name of the file. Okay, let's execute now. So this will also create the same screenshot on the same folder. Now let me just delete my old one. Okay, now I have deleted old screenshot file. Now it is going to create another one. Okay, now it is executed. So now you can just look at this same screenshot which is created. So this is how we can just capture the screenshot, and wherever you write this statement and whichever page currently open, so that will capture the screenshot and we can save that in whichever location we want. So apart from this, there are some other methods also available. So I'll say driver dot get the screenshot as a file. So this is also available. So this will give just, it is save underscore screenshot. Okay, but this is get underscore screenshot as a file. So here also we can just give the same thing. But if I don't specify the path, if I just specify only the name of the file, then what happens? That particular screenshot will be created, and wherever your script is created. So from where you are running the script, in that location itself, the file will be created if I don't specify any path. Okay, so let me just specify the path, get the location, and then providing the name. And this will also do the same thing. Let me just comment this and execute. Get a screenshot underscore as underscore file, and this command will give you the current working directory. Inside this, I just want to save it, homepage.png. Again, I'm deleting this file. Execute. Okay, done. So I can just go back, and now we can see the same page is created. So these are the two methods most of the times we use, either this one or this one, and the file can be saved in the PNG format. But apart from this, there are two more methods are available. Driver dot get screenshot as 64-bit. This is one method is available. And there is one more method, get a screenshot as a PNG. So this is also available. So this one, and driver dot get a screenshot as a file we already seen, right? And this is the one more method is available. So basically what these methods will do is, these methods also capture the screenshot in the form of binary format. So again, we have to write some piece of code again to convert that binary format into our image format. Okay, so this is most of the times we don't use it. And even this is also get screenshot as PNG. If I just go and click on this method, if I just look at this particular method is implemented like this. So it is written 64-bit decode code. So basically in encoding format, the screenshot will be written. So until unless which is visible, we cannot use a screenshot, right? It's screenshot. Why we are taking screenshot? Because it should be visible. So because if I call this method, this will return the screenshot in the form of some ASCII code. So we cannot understand what exactly it is. But again, we have to decode that. We need to encode that basically, and then we will be able to understand. So this is again indirect way we can capture it. If you want to securely capture the screenshot, then we need to go with this. Otherwise, not required. So both will do the same thing, either this one or this one. I'll commenting these two methods, and this will save the screenshot in the binary format. Okay, binary format. We can call it as a binary format. So most of the times we use either one of them methods. So this one or second one, so you can just go with them. Okay. So this is a simple concept by which we will able to capture the screenshot. And this concept is very, very important, especially when you developing the framework, and this concept is very useful. But where we will capture the screenshot on failure of test cases. So whenever the test case got failed, then we will capture the screenshot and have that screenshot in some other folder. So that is a concept which is linked with the framework. Okay, remember this. It's very straightforward, but if we go with the Selenium Java, so there is at least 4 to 5 lines of code we have to write. But Python, it is straightforward method is available. Just driver.save screenshot and specify the location wherever you want to save the screenshot. But if you go with the Java, again, there are special classes are there, special methods are there. And we need to write 4 to 5 lines of code to capture the screenshot. But here it is more simpler than Java. Okay, remember this. This is one concept. And then especially in Selenium 4, okay, there are a few concepts are introduced. So I'll tell you what are those concepts. And before that, let me just take one example. First, I'll show you scenario, what is the scenario, and then we will think how we can handle that. Okay. So let me just try to open this application. Okay, so this is my web application. So inside this, you can find something called a register link. Okay. So when I perform click action on this register link, what will happen? It will open the registration page. And where it is opening? On the same page, on the same tab, registration page is open, right? This is a default function. Even if you do through automation also, it will do the same thing. Now let me just write the automation, but my requirement is I don't, as soon as you click on the register, I don't want to lose my home page. I just want to open this register in another tab like this. And then I want to automatically focus or automatically switch to the second tab. So that should happen. But normally what happens is as soon as you click on the register link, which will open the new page, the old page is already gone. And currently you are in the register page. So this is actually happened even through automation. But my requirement is I just use some option by which we will able to open any link on the new tab like this. So this is the operation. We have to do this. This is normally available in all Selenium versions. But in Selenium 4, some more options are available. I'll show you that. But before that, let me try to do this operation. Okay, I just want to open the link in the next tab in the window. So let me just execute now. So this particular option may not work for other browsers, because other browsers, there will be some different shortcut keys are there. If I want to open the browser here, I can press from keyboard. There's a control enter. When I say control enter, which will open the new page. Okay, but this is a key we have to press from your keyboard. So the same thing we will automate here. So let me just show you. Go to Python file, and I'll name it as tabs and windows. Okay, so here I will just launch the same application. So demo.nocommerce.com. So what I can do is, okay, so as soon as you launch your application, I'm trying to maximize the window and just try to click on the register link, and then what happens we will see. So this is a register link, right? You can just use any link. I'm just trying to click on the register link. And this is basically link text. So let me go and identify this element. Driver.find element by dot link text. Specify that link text and dot click. Okay, so this is normal operation. As soon as you launch a web page, maximize the window, and then clicking on the register. So what this will do is, which will just open the registration page on the same tab. This is a normal way we do. But I want to open the registration link in the second tab. So that's my requirement. So if I just look at this, it is just open the register link on the same page. Now I want to open this register link in the next tab. So then what you can do is, you can simply say one method is available. So first of all, how we can do this manually. So what you will do, if you want to open the another tab from the keyboard, you can just say, you can just print, you can just click from your keyboard, control enter. So control key and enter key. So that will automatically open the next page like this. But the same thing we do through automation. So first of all, what do we need to do? We need to save those two keys in a variable. So how to save it? We have a keys class, right? So keys dot, we have to import the keys class. So in actions change class also, we have seen how to perform the keyboard actions. So keys class contains all the keyboard keys. So which key we have to press first? Control key. And plus after that, which key we have to press after control? Enter key. So again, take enter key. Keys dot enter or return key. Return is nothing but an enter key. Okay, both are same. So now I'll store these two keys in a variable. Okay, so what is that variable is? I'm just talking about a registration link. Okay, so I'll say reg link. Keys dot control plus keys dot return. So I just a combination of these two keys I'm saving in a variable. So I just naming as a registration link. Okay. So now what I will do is, let us find out the element. So this is basically link text. So we already found out here, right? So before doing that, I'll do it like this. So I capture these two keys in a variable. Now instead of performing this click action here in this element, I will perform this one. So how to perform this? By send keys. You can just use send keys, and inside the send keys you can pass it like this. Or if you want to pass directly also, no problem, you can directly pass it. So now this particular statement, what this will do is, first it will go and identify the register link. On that element, it will perform the control return action. Control return means control enter key. So that will open the register link in another tab. So you can store these two keys in a variable, and you can pass this variable directly here, or you can directly specify this inside the command. Anything is fine. So let me just use like this. Okay, now observe this carefully. So let me just run it. Okay, now you can just look at here. So now register link is open in another tab. Register link is open in the another tab. Okay, this is how we can just, these are all just tips. Okay, so while automating the test cases, you may face a different kind of scenarios, and you can use this kind of tip. Suppose I still want to have home page, but still I will open the registration link in another tab. So then you can just go with this approach, and then you can just switch between the multiple tabs, and then you can perform whatever operations you want to do. Okay, so this is one option. So this is there in all the versions of Selenium. So it is nothing new here. But now I'll tell you what are the new stuff is added in the Selenium 4. Okay, so this is there in everywhere. So now Selenium 4, there is something new added, newly added. What is that? New tab. How to open a new tab, especially in Selenium 4. Opens a new tab and switch it to the new tab. Automatically I want to switch. In the previous case, what happens is, as soon as you click on the register link, it opens the tab, right? But our control, our driver is still focused on the home page itself. Okay, it is not going to the second tab. It is not switched to the second tab directly. Again, we have to use switching command there. But here, as soon as you open the new tab, our driver will automatically switch it to the second tab. Okay, so let me just try to do this. And this is a different scenario. So driver.get, I'm opening one application URL. You can just look at this. I'm opening the URL of application. Again, I'm using the same command. And this time I'll open another application. So this is a different application. Now, when I execute these two statements, what happens? will it open two browser windows and two different applications? Or first it will open this application and then override this URL with the new URL. So first I'm launching my OpenCut application, and then I'm launching my orangehrm.com application. Let's execute and see finally which application will be there. So it is launching my application. So first opencut.com page is opened, right? So now on the same page, on the same window, new application is open, orangehrm.com is open, but the old one is already gone. But again, if you want to get the old one, what we need to do? We need to again use navigator commands. So navigation commands, right? Driver.back, driver.forward. So previous sessions we have discussed. Again, we have to click on this arrow marks, then you will be able to see that. But that's not my requirement. My requirement is, as soon as you open my application like this, another application I want to open in the next tab. I want to switch it to the next tab, and here I want to open the application. So I need to maintain the two applications parallel. So this is possible by using a command which is provided only Selenium 4. So in that case, what you will do is I can use this command driver dot. We already know one command, right? So what is that command? New window. Driver dot switch to dot. We know this command. Window command we know. So what is this command will do? Here we have to pass a window ID. Then it will automatically switch to that particular window. This is a switching command. But here it is not a window. There is one more method called new window. This is a newly introduced in Selenium 4. But what this window will do, what this method will do is, this particular method will open the another window or another tab. If I just say tab, it will open another tab. And inside this tab window, this new application will be open. So that's the purpose of this method. So switch to dot a new window will just open the another window because we specified the tab, and then this application will be open. So at a time we can see both applications, but our driver will focus only on the second application by default. So let me just execute and show you. It's not like previously, both the pages are available in the both the tabs. Now you can just look at here. Now old page is still there. Now the new page is opening. So both are there, but currently our driver is focused on the second web page, second tab. But again, if you want to go to the previous one, again, we have to switch it. Or we can just use navigation command and then we go back. Even if you use navigation command, I don't think so it will go, because it will completely open the new tab, right? So we cannot navigate to the previous application, but we can switch to the one application to another application. By using switching command, we can do that. So this is a new command which is available in Selenium 4. It is not a switching command actually. So which opens a new tab, and this application is going to open on the new tab. Okay, this is one command. And there is one more thing is also available, the same thing, but instead of using a tab, we will specify the window. So window means what? Instead of opening the new tab, it will completely open the new browser window. Let's execute this one. Open the new browser window. Browser window and switches to the new window. Now execute this. So instead of tab, this time I'm just passing window. Let's execute. Okay, now we can just look at this. This is the first browser window, and this is my another browser window. Instead of opening the tab in the same browser window, so this time it is completely open another browser window. Okay, so these are the two different applications now. So these are the only two commands which are newly introduced in Selenium 4. So this one command is same here, new window, here also new window. But if I say tab, this will just open another tab. But when I say window as a parameter, so which will open another window or the new browser window. So just remember this, okay? New window. So if anybody asks you what are the new features implemented Selenium 4, so and there are so many other features also there, but especially for browser related automation. So these are the two new features which are implemented. So new window is different. Switch to dot new window is different. Switch to dot window is different. Switch to dot window is a switching command where we have to pass a window ID as an argument. But here switch underscore to dot new window is another command by which we can open another tab, or we can open the another window where we can again launch the applications. Okay, so this is an example. tabs and windows. Now, so let me just show you one more type of concept, how to handle cookies. How to handle cookies, especially when you do browser or web applications. So sometimes you need to validate cookies also. So before that, let us try to understand what is cookie, why it is required, and why we need to do testing on cookies, all these things. So basically, whenever you launch your any web application, so whenever you're browsing something, so your browser will remember some data. It will remember. So for example, you may notice so many scenarios, like whenever you enter any application, you enter your username and password. And as soon as you click on the remember me option, so your browser will able to remember that. So next time you no need to pass username and password, and it will directly log in into the application, right? And sometimes in your like e-commerce applications, you are searching for some product. Like previously, long back, you searched some product, and again after a few days, if you open the same website from your same machine, same browser, and in the same browser, it will suggest you the products, like whatever the products you already searched earlier. So it will give you the suggestions at the side window or bottom or somewhere. That means what? Your browser is intelligent enough to remember the information what exactly have done on the browser. So what kind of operations you have done, browser will able to easily remember that. So but how the browser is able to remember that information? In the form of cookies, which is basically called as a cookies. Cookies are the temporary files which are created by the browser whenever you browse some files or browse some websites. Okay, so that's the functionality of the browser, but it will not create for all the browsers. So some browsers are very restricted, so cookies will not be created, but some browsers should be created. Okay, so as a web application testing, we need to check whether our application is properly creating the cookies or not, and that particular functionality is supporting or not. And through automation, we should do that. Okay, but in manually, how we can do that? So if I just open the browser, launch your application, and do some operations. Okay, just I have shown you some example like login and everything. So do certain number of operations and close the browser. And again, reopen the multiple times, and the same kind of content you can see the browser. And in the Chrome browser also, you can have one option called delete cookies option. If I just go back and settings, you can see one option called, you can just look at here, cookies and other site data. We can just click on it, and it will we can automatically delete this. Okay, so we can also control. If I don't want to save the cookies also, we can just have all the control options are available in each browser. The options are available. But if you want to delete everything, all the cookies information and everything, you can just delete from here. So you can just, if you just click on clear browsing data, which will also clear all your cookies files. But that's not our testing now. So this is a part of manual thing, you can do that. But in automation, we can do it very effectively. So how we can do it manual automatically is, we can take the web application and we can check whether the application is creating the cookies or not, and what type of cookies it is created. And we can also extract the values of the cookies. We can extract the data. Like every cookie is having some attributes, like cookie name, okay, and a cookie expiry date, like that. So there are multiple cookie value. So there are multiple attributes are there for every cookie. So we will know those values or those attributes. We can know the attribute values also we will get from those cookies. And basically we do different type of operations, like in automation especially, we can see or we can check whether the cookies are creating or not as soon as your browser is launched or application is launched. So how many cookies are created? And we can also create our own cookie, whether our application is allowing to create a cookies or not. We can create our own cookie through automation. After creation of the cookie, still we can check whether our cookie is properly created or not. And then we can delete the existing cookie. Okay, we can delete all the cookies at a time. Suppose your browser has created 100 cookies, all 100 cookies at the same time, we can delete. We can clear all the cookies. But I want to delete only specific cookie, and we can go and delete only that particular cookie. So different type of operations we can do on cookies through automation more effectively. Okay, so let me just show you how we can do this. But this cookie information is always more dynamic. So every time you will not get the same number of cookies. Every time you will not get the same kind of cookie. It depends on a lot of factors. Okay, so we will see one. I'll just taken some stable application, so which will always create the same number of cookies. We can add new cookies, we can delete the cookies, everything we can perfectly do on that application. So we will try that, how we can do all these things. What are the operations? Just now I told you. So let's go back to the PyCharm, and I'm again taking this application. So demo.novocommerce.com. Let me just take this code till here. Okay, now let's create another Python file. I'll name it as handle cookies. Okay, so same thing. We don't need import all these things, and even we don't need this by class. Okay, so now I just launching my web page, and then I maximize this window, right? So as a first step, as soon as you launch this particular page, so by default, there are some cookies will be created by the browser. So I want to get those cookies. What are the default cookies which are created by the application? So I want to get those cookies. I want to know how many cookies are by default is created by the application. So for that, we can simply use one command. There is a driver dot. So we have one command called get cookies. Get cookies. Always it will create more number of cookies, not only one. So get cookies is a command. So what this command will do is, which is basically capture cookies from the browser, which will capture cookies. Cookies from the browser. So how many cookies? We don't know how many cookies will be created. Dynamically it will create. So we can get all the cookies, and I'll create one variable also. So I'll name it as cookies. So now we captured all the cookies into variable. Now this variable contains all the cookies. Again, you have to remember this. So when you have one cookie, that cookie is not a single, it's not a web element. First of all, it is not a single object, which is having more number of attributes. Every cookie is having some name attribute and some value attribute. And also sometimes every cookie is having some expiry date, all these things. There are so many other things also there. Okay, so these are all different attributes are there. But again, every attribute is having some value. So every cookie is having some name, right? What is that name? Value is also there, expiry date also there. So which is having some name, let's say XYZ or something like this. Or I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, something like this. Expiry date, some date will be there. After achieving the date and time, automatically the cookie will be expired. So basically what we need to understand is, if you take one single cookie which contains multiple attributes, but how we can represent all these attributes like this? It is basically dictionary collection, because we can just look at this data. It seems very similar to key value pair. So name is a key, XYZ is a value. Value is a key, 1, 2, 3, 4 is a value. So like this, if I take one cookie which contains a many number of attributes, each attribute is having some value associated with that. So if you capture all the stuff, all the attributes of one cookie, where we can store them? We have to store in the dictionary object. Okay, so this kind of data we can store in one dictionary object. That means one dictionary object contains information about one cookie. Remember that. It can be one attribute or multiple attributes. But finally, one cookie information we can store in the dictionary object. Okay, remember that point. So just look at here. So I say driver.get cookies. I captured all the cookies. Again, each cookie is having multiple attributes, right? So now I stored all the cookies into this variable. First of all, let me count how many cookies are there. Simple, length of cookies. And this will print total number of cookies which is created. Let me just print. I say size of cookies which are created. I'm just taking comma. I'm just printing total number of cookies which are created for our browser. Okay, so after that, let me close my browser also. I say driver dot cookies are created. And later I'll show you how to get each and every cookies information. What happens? Yeah, so something went wrong. Okay, so here we haven't used length function. Sorry, so we forgot this. length of cookies. Okay, one more bracket. What happens? So still there is a problem. Okay, so driver dot get underscore cookies, and which is written all the cookies, length of cookies. So we have given correctly size of cookies, colon and comma, length of cookies. I don't see any issue here. Sorry guys, so we have to use print, right? So sorry, print of size of cookies and length size of cookies. So I forgot to print length. Okay, perfect. Now execute. Okay, so now it is giving total 4 cookies have been created. So we will see that cookie information also. So first of all, we have counted. So total 4 cookies have been created. Okay, just a moment. Okay, so now we have 4 cookies have been created, right? So after that, what's the next operation is I want to see what are those cookies have been created. Okay, I just want to print the information about all the cookies. So what I will do is I will just write one for loop. So here print print information or print details of all cookies created by the browser. Okay, so for that I'm just writing one for loop for, and here we already created this variable, right? So which contains all the cookies. Let me just use this variable here. And from this cookies, I want to extract cookie, right? I'll just create one variable C in cookies. And what is C contains now? C is representing one single cookie, because the cookies contains a multiple cookies and each and every cookie will be stored in this variable. Now I'm directly printing the cookie. Directly I'm printing the cookie here. And then we'll see what happens. When you print the cookie information, we'll see what happens. Okay, now we can just look at this. So I told you one point here. So every cookie is having multiple attributes and every attribute contains a value here, right? Similarly, whenever you try to print one cookie here, which is given all the information or details about the cookie. If I just look at this first one, this is the first cookie. So what is the domain of the cookie is this one. Expiry date, HTTP only, is false. And the name, attribute and value, if I just look at here, this is exactly following the key and value pair. Now this a path is a variable and the value is slash. Secure is another attribute, false is a value, and value is another attribute, and one is the value of value attribute. So if I just look at the entire data, it is exactly representing the dictionary format. So in Python dictionary, we represent with the curly braces, right, which contains a key and a value pair. So cookie is not a single object actually. So cookie contains a multiple attribute. Each and attribute is having some value which is associated. Okay, but now what I want to do is from this, this is for information about first cookie, second, third, and 4 cookies, right? Because we got 4 cookies totally. So it is representing the each cookie information is represented in the dictionary form, right? Dictionary collection form. So now my requirement is instead of printing all the details of all the cookies, I just want to capture only, let's say, a name of the cookie. Okay, or I want to capture the value of the cookie and some data, just 1 or 2 attributes data I want to capture from every cookie instead of printing all the details about all the cookies. But how we can extract the specific cookie attribute and values? So for that, what we need to do is we can simply say instead of print C, we can do like this. We can do like this. Print from the C, from C is representing the cookie, right? So I want to get the name of the cookie. So C dot get is a method. Get. And in the dictionary, we have discussed some methods, right? If you want to, if you have a key like this, key and value pair. So I want to get this value. How to get it from the dictionary? So we can use get method. Get of, if I pass this one, this will return this value. Similarly, if in the get method, if I say key, and that will return the value. Similar in the get method, when I say expiry date, that will return the value of the expiry date. So cookie dot get, and what information you want to get from here? Name I want to get. So here you can just specify the name in the double quotation. So this particular thing will return only name of the cookie, only names of the cookie. Let me just execute and see. Only names of the cookies will be returned. Okay, now you can just look at this. It is just printed the name. It is just printed the names of the cookies. These are the name in the sense, all the cookies, again, 4 cookies. These are first cookies, second, third, and fourth cookie. For every cookie, there is a name attribute. For that attribute, these are the values associated with the name. But along with this name, I want to also print value of the cookie. So then what you can do is you can simply say comma, means concatenated, colon, and just I'm concatenating. So I just want to print in this format. So I say name and then value like this. In this format, I want to just print. But I want to get the value also from the cookie. I say c dot get, and I say value attribute. Okay, suppose if you want to get expiry date also, I say c comma c dot get, and here you can specify the expiry date. If it is there, you can just specify the expiry date. Okay, so I have not remembered the spelling, what it is giving actually. So I'm just removing for now. So if you want, you can also add it. So let me just close it. So now instead of printing information or details about all the cookies, I'm just capturing the only name and value of the cookie for 4 cookies. Okay, let me just execute now. So it will just print name colon value of the cookie. Only names and value. Now we can just look at these are name of the cookies, and these are the values of the cookies. 4 cookies total. So we can get information like this, cookies information like this. Print the details of all the cookies. And this will print the details of all the cookies, but this statement will just print only name and value of the each and every cookie. Okay, so these are all default cookies which is already created by the browser. But how we can add our own cookie to the browser, and how we can delete the cookie from the browser. So that I will show you now. So let me just comment this code. And the next thing is how to add a new cookie. Add a new cookie to the browser. And this is our own user defined cookie. So with this, we will know exactly whether application is allowing to create a cookie or not. So how to add a new cookie? So to add a new cookie to the browser, simply what you can do is, again, we have a direct method is available. So driver dot add underscore cookie. Add underscore cookie. And again, when you add a new cookie to the browser, as I said, every cookie is having some details like this, right? So what are the details you need to have to that particular cookie? That also we need to specify. But in which format we have to specify? In the dictionary format. Okay, because every cookie contains a lot of information, so many attributes. But we no need to specify all the attributes. Some cookies is having only 2 attributes. Some cookies may have 4 or 5 attributes. Okay, so when you're creating the cookie, you may not have multiple attributes sometimes. You can just add 2 attributes and you can create a cookie. But you have to specify those attributes in the form of dictionary form. Dictionary format you have to specify. So when I add cookie to the browser here, what you need to do is we need to specify something like this in the curly bracket, because cookies information we have to specify in the curly braces only, right? So add cookie in the curly braces. So name of the cookie is, I say my cookie. I'm giving some name to my cookie. Okay, name of the cookie is my cookie, and comma value. I will also give some value attribute to the cookie. So what is the value of the cookie? I can say something called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, some number. Now, currently I'm adding one cookie to the browser with these details, name equal to my cookie, value equal to this one. Now, once you add this cookie to the browser, previously how many are there? 4. Once you add this cookie newly to the browser, now this will become 5 cookies. Totally it should become 5 cookies, right? But as soon as you added this cookie, again we have to capture all the cookies, then we have to count. So immediately we should not count. Okay, so as soon as you added this cookie, if I just write this statement, what happens? If I write this statement, what happens? It will still give 4 on. It will still give 4. Why it will give you 4? Why it is giving 4 here? The reason is previously we already captured all the cookies, and 4 cookies are there in this variable. 4 is there. 4 is there already stored. After getting all 4 cookies, then we have added this. Okay. Now, if you print the length again, which value it will have? Only 4, but it is not counted this one. This will not count because before adding the new cookie, we already captured all the cookies earlier. So this variable contains a 4 now. But after adding this, we have not captured all the cookies once again. We have to capture one more time because we have added the new one, right? Then you will get another count. So instead of printing directly, I can just get all the cookies one more time before printing them. So here I can just from some text here, size of cookies after adding new one. After adding new one, you can just count it now. So here what we are expecting, we will expect 5 because previously earlier we have 4. Now we have added one more and then again capture all the cookies one more time. Now this should become 4 or 5 now. So let's execute it. If it is giving 5, that means our new cookie is successfully added to the browser. Okay, now we can just look at this. So previously it was 4, now it becomes 5. So that means this cookie is successfully added to the browser. So this is written 5. Okay, so this is written 5. So like this, we can just add number of cookies to the browser, and we can also specify multiple attributes. Whatever attributes you want to have to that cookie, we can keep on adding it. Fine. So till now this is fine. So we have added a new cookie. Suppose I want to delete a cookie from the browser. I want to delete a cookie from the browser. So then how we can delete the cookie? The next operation, comment this. Delete a specific cookie, not all the cookies. Okay, specific cookie from the browser. So delete a specific cookie from the browser. So let's have this code, no problem. Okay, so delete a specific cookie from the browser. So let's delete our own cookie, whatever cookie newly added. So let us delete only that cookie. Okay, so if you want to delete other cookies also, you can still delete, no issues. But at the time of deleting the cookie, okay, at the time of deleting the cookie, we have to specify the attribute, like a cookie name we have to specify. I'll tell you. So here we already created one cookie with this name, right? So if you want to delete that particular cookie, we can simply say driver dot delete cookie. So this is a command, driver dot delete cookie. And inside this, we have to specify the name of the cookie. So what is the name of the cookie? My cookie, right? So that we have to specify. That we have to specify. So that's it. So this will delete the particular cookie along with other data also. So whatever the other attributes are there for this cookie, which is going to delete. And now once you delete this cookie, again, if you count it, how many you will get? 4 you should get, right? If I just print this statement once again, size of the cookies after deleted 1. But again, so here we have added a new cookie and we counted already, it becomes 5. So now this variable contains a totally 5. But after deletion, we haven't get all the cookies again, right? We should get it again. One more time, we have to capture all the cookies after deletion because this variable contains a old value, still old value. So this will give only still 5. So we need to again capture all the cookies. So this statement again we have to write. So driver dot get all cookies, get cookies after deletion of the cookie, and then it will again get an new cookies, and then again we are finding the length. So what is you are expecting here now? What is an expected value here now? So initially it was 4. Here it is 4. And after adding the new cookie here, it becomes 5. Now after deleting this cookie here, it should become again 4. It should become again 4. Now let us execute and see. Right, so now you can just look at here. Initially it was 4. After adding it become 5. So after deleted again it become 4. And finally I want to delete all the cookies, not a single cookie. I just want to delete all the cookies. I just want to make it 0. And then we can just write one more command, delete all the cookies. So for that we can simply say driver dot delete all cookies, and this will go and delete all the cookies. And again, after deletion of all the cookies, one more time we have to capture all the cookies, and it should return 0 now. So this should return 0 because we already deleted all the cookies, so it will not capture anything. It will return 0. So this will give us 0. That's the final output. Let's execute one more time. Okay, now we can just look at this. So initially 4, after adding it become 5, and after deletion again it become 4, and after deleting all the stuff, so it becomes 0. Size of the cookies after deleted all cookies. Okay, so this is how we can work with the cookies. So we can just handle the cookies from the browser. And suppose even if you are trying to add one cookie, suppose you are trying to add one cookie here, right? And after adding cookie, if you are still getting the same count, that means what? Your application is not allowing you to create a cookie. Okay, it can easily identify that. So that is a representation, and we can put some validation on this. And similarly, even after deletion of the cookie, and if this number remains the same, in that case, your browser is not allowing to delete the cookies. Okay, so if there is any functionality, cookies functionality is implemented, then everything is supported. We can get all the cookies, we can create our own cookies, we can delete everything we can do if the browser is supporting cookies functionality. Not only browser, your application also should be supported. So sometimes you may notice some web applications, whenever you're browsing that web application, so it will give you some kind of pop-up like enable cookies, something like that. Okay, so that information will give you because that application want to save that cookies information in your local machine or in your local browser. Okay, so this is all about cookies, how to handle cookies. There are just 3 to 4 methods are there, and it is their straightforward methods. We can directly access them through driver object, and we can work on this. And this is the starting website because I have taken, so you are getting the values properly here as per our expected. But if I take more complex pages like dynamic web pages, like e-commerce kind of applications, so you may not get the values exactly the same, because so every time when you launch their website, so every time the new cookies will be generated. So randomly the new cookies will be generated, and you will not able to count properly. So you will able to add a new cookies, you will able to delete them, everything you can do that, but the values you will not get accurately. So first time when you count 4 you will get, second time you will get immediately 5 you will get without doing any operation. So browsers or applications are more dynamic. So every time you may not get the same number of cookies for the same kind of application. So it is randomly doing. But our intention is mainly whether it is creating the cookies or not, whether you're able to deleting the cookies or not. That's the main intention which we need to have. Okay. And the count is not important here. So only thing is we need to check whether it's cookies deleting or not, adding or not. So these are the main operations which we can do it. Okay. So this is one of the concept, but it's very rare case. Most of the times not required. Okay. Sometimes if you anybody anything required like this in project, if anybody asks you to test the cookies kind of thing, so then we will use this kind of methods and we will handle the cookies, otherwise not required. Okay. And this is one of the concept, and After that, one more last topic, very important, headless testing. Okay, so headless testing, or we can say headless mode testing, headless mode. So what is headless mode? And sometimes you may hear this term many places. If you learn some automation already, you know something. So headless mode. What is meant by headless mode? So basically headless mode is without getting any UI, we can still execute our test case. So normally when executing a test case, what happens? We are able to see the browser and we are able to see each and every action the automation script is doing, right? It is launching my browser, clicking on the link, clicking on the button, entering the value in the input box. Every action we are able to see. It is visible on the browser. But in headless mode, what happens is your test case will execute in the backend. That means you don't see any application or screens, even launching browser, you don't see anything, but your script will execute successfully. So in backend, it will execute. So that is basically called as headless mode of execution. Headless mode of execution. But with this headless mode, there are advantages there, disadvantages also there. So what is an advantage of headless mode? Suppose if you run your automation script normally, until unless your script execution is completed, you cannot perform any other activity on your machine because your browser will be disturbed, right? If I just you have 100 lines of code and it is opening the browser and doing a lot of actions on the browser, and immediately you cannot minimize that browser and you cannot do any other actions on your laptop, right? So until unless that code or script is completed, you have to wait for that. You cannot concentrate on any other task until unless your test execution is completed. That is actually disadvantages with this. But in headless mode, what happens? Your script will execute at the backend, so you don't get any browser or anything. So you can just run your script and you can minimize this window, and then you can concentrate on other tasks in your mission. You can do some other task parallelly. So that's a biggest advantage of using headless mode of testing. Okay, that's the one thing. Second advantage is sometimes your script execution is very faster, because if you just execute normal mode, it takes some time. So it is launching the browser, opening the URL, performing the action on the UI. So this will take some time actually. But instead of doing this, if you execute your test in the backend, the lot of time will be reduced. But if you just run small script, you may not see much difference. But in the real environment, if you run hundreds of test cases as a bulk test cases in headless mode, you can see a lot of difference. So the performance will be increased and performance will be more when you execute your test cases in headless mode, because we don't have any UI actions there. So the lot of time will be saved. Okay. So these are the two major advantages of headless mode of testing. So these are the two major advantages of headless mode of testing. One is we can do multiple tasks parallelly. The second one is execution will be very faster. So in that case, we can go with the headless mode of testing. But what is the disadvantage of headless mode? Suppose if you are newly joined in the project and you don't know application functionality, right? And somebody is given some test cases to you to check, like execute over some test cases and check whether everything working fine or not. So in that particular scenario, what happens when you run your test case, everything goes at backend. You cannot see any UI actions, anything. But how you will know the functionality of application? How you will know whether it's doing perfectly or not? And how you will know whether it's properly navigating to each and every page or not? Finally, you will see the result, whether it's passed or failed. But you don't know exactly whether it is properly doing or not. And you cannot learn anything. Sometimes, even if you're not able to understand the application functionality, so somebody is developed some automation script. So you are executing those scripts, and by executing your test cases, you want to know the functionality. But if you execute the test cases in headless mode, then what happens? You cannot learn anything on it. You don't know the application flows and application functionality. So that is a disadvantage with the headless mode of testing. Okay, if anybody asks you, we can just clearly explain it. So now we will see how we can execute our test in headless mode. And again, this is different from one browser to another browser. So I'll show you in 3 different browsers: Chrome browser, Edge browser, and Firefox browser. Okay. So now we will see it. So let's go back to the PyChamp, and let's go and create another script. Headless testing. Okay, so headless testing. So first of all, I'll show you three different browsers, right? First of all, let us see Chrome and then Edge and Firefox. So because I'm just using three different browsers, I will just create three different functions because browser level settings are required. Okay, earlier we have seen, right? Chrome options, Edge options class, Firefox options. Similar way, we have to do some setting. Simple settings is required. So let me directly write one function. So before that, let me import the WebDriver first. Okay. All right. So now, so after importing the WebDriver, so we need to also import service object. Okay. Service object also I will write inside the function. So directly I'm writing the function def headless underscore Chrome. Okay, this is the function. So inside this, what I'll do is, first of all, I'll import WebDriver service and path and everything I will create inside the function itself. Because this is a Chrome service and the Chrome path, I get the service object. Now I'll try to launch my browser. So how to launch my browser? Normally driver equal to WebDriver dot Chrome. And here we have to pass service object. We have to pass service equal to service object. Service equal to service object, right? So this is a common thing we do every time. So here I have not added any additional stuff. I just plain code I have added instead of writing them here, and I'm just included in the function, nothing else. And I'm just returning the driver. I'm just returning the driver. So this is my function implementation. And now outside of the function, I will just call the function and get the driver from this function. So here I'm defining my driver, my own driver. And now when I call this function, what happens? Which will return the driver. And I have not done any new settings yet. Just I imported the service and service object created, pass the service object while launching the browser. That's it. And driver I'm returning here. So now driver.get. And here I'm trying to launch our application. So I'm just launching my application. And as soon as I launch my application, we cannot see any UI, nothing. Okay, so simply what I will do is I will say I just want to capture the title of the page and also what URL which is launched, that I want to get it. So I say URL. What is the current URL? Okay, so I just want to capture two things. As soon as you're launching a browser, I want to capture two things, title and current URL, right? So after that, I want to close my browser. I say driver dot close or quit. So this is the normal code I have written. So here nothing is new. I just created one function. Instead of writing these statements before all these statements, I just separated them into one more function. So this will work normal way. Okay, nothing new into this. When I run this, it is a normal mode. It's not headless mode. It's just launching my browser. We are able to see that. And we are able to see it is opening the URL also. Then it captures the title and also URL perfectly fine. So this is normal mode. Now I want to make it as a headless mode. So to make it as a headless mode, what we can simply do it, we have to just before specifying this driver, okay, before specifying this driver, we have to say something here. We path anyway will specify, and then here we have a class called Chrome options in the WebDriver. So WebDriver dot Chrome options. And for this class, we need to create an object. Let me just say OPS is an object. And in this object, there is a variable called headless. And we have to make this property as a true. By default, the property is false. Actually, we need to make it as a true. That's it. Now we have to pass these options is another parameter along with the service object. How we can pass comma options variable equal to OPS, because as soon as we do setting here, that should be part of your browser setting. So like service object, we passed here service keyword. Similarly, options object, we have to pass by using options keyword. Don't forget. Okay. Now this particular attribute value will make our browser headless. Now, when I execute this code, what happens? We cannot see any UI. It will just launch the browser and get the title and URL, but we cannot see the UI browser launching anything. So let me just execute and see. So which will not launch anything. It will directly give you the title and URL because it is internally executed and backend it is executed. So this is called headless mode of testing. You can just write more number of statements like this. You can interact with all kinds of elements, but still you cannot see any UI actions. Everything will go and execute at the back. So this is headless mode. So same thing we can just replicate for Edge browser. So same function I'm writing. Instead of Chrome, I say Edge, but there are a few things we have to change, right? Here, instead of Chrome.service, we have to say Edge.service. And instead of Chrome driver path, we have to specify the Edge driver path. So that I'm specifying. And what else? Instead of Chrome options, we say Edge options. And then headless is equal to true. Instead of WebDriver.Chrome, we have to say Edge WebDriver.Edge. And service, options, and driver. Same thing. Now let me just, instead of calling this function, now this time I will call headless edge. Headless edge. Okay. Let's execute now. So this time it will execute on Edge browser. And we cannot see any operation on the UI. So it will directly go and launch it and give the data result. Okay. So this is headless mode of Edge browser. Same thing I can replicate for Firefox also. So headless Firefox. So again, what do we need to do? We need to just change few things. So here instead of Edge, we say Firefox. And here we need to specify the Firefox path, driver path. Specify that. Okay, Firefox path, Gecko driver. And then instead of Edge options, let's say Firefox options. Firefox options. And subject is created and headless equal to true. It is also same. And then we pass the service object and options and everything is same. Now execute. So this time I will call headless Firefox function so that it will give you my driver. Okay, so now the rest of the code will execute on Firefox browser. And Firefox is normally slow, right? So we will also get the results very slow when you compare with the Chrome and Edge browsers. Now you can just look at here. It will take so much of time. But in the Chrome and Edge browser, immediately we got the result. But in case of Firefox, it takes some time. So we will get results will be late. Now you can just look at here. Now we got the results. Okay, so Firefox is always slow. Even if it executes backend, it is a little bit slower than other browsers. Okay, so this is basically called as headless testing, guys. So this is also a good feature sometimes, but not every time. And when it will be useful, suppose if you already done automation, multiple rounds have executed. Okay, but in the last cycles of testing, before wind up everything in the testing and automation, and at the time, like before releasing your automation, like in the last level of activities you do, right? Sign up testing activities at that time. And if you want to just cross check all the functionalities working perfectly fine or not, and just one round of testing. So then you can just initiate all the test cases in the headless mode. So that keep on executing at the backend and you can concentrate on some other tasks. And you don't need to sit in front of the machine and you don't need to see anything like this, not required at all. So it will keep on executing, but if there are any bugs in your application, that will be captured in the report finally. So your automation framework, it will automatically generate the report, right? Which contains all the failures, information, everything. So that again, we will discuss later. Okay. So this is the actual thing we will have. So headless mode testing is sometimes very useful. And if you have very short time to complete most things, like within a short period of span. So if you want to execute the whole automation thing, so headless mode will reduce a lot of effort and reduce a lot of time, and because its performance is more. Okay. So that is all about headless mode of testing. Fine. So remember this, all concepts are important. So whatever we discuss, like Bootstrap dropdown, how to handle it, how to capture the screenshot, how to handle the cookies, and how to work with the headless mode execution. Okay. So practice these things from today. Okay. So from tomorrow, we are going to discuss most important concepts, like which are again very useful while designing the framework also. So how to work with the databases, how we can perform some database kind of testing in automation, and how we can work with Excel sheets, especially data-driven testing is the most important in automation. So how we can perform the data-driven testing. So in the next 2 to 3 sessions are most important. Okay, so we will discuss them. Okay, so I'll stop here. So we will continue in the next session.